Good morning.
Okay, now I would like to present you a new journal that is talking about reporting verbs in literature review chapters of Tesol master's thesis written by Vietnamese postgraduates. So here, take a look here from the about one of the word that is the focus of this study will only focus of reporting verbs. So for the next slide, that is talking about the introductions. So here, according to Jalili for 2012, citing other works is a distinguishing feature of academics writing, and this practice has a complex communicative purpose with scientific, semantic, and pragmatic variations. And another author also provided RVs are known as one of explicit ways for writers to establish the credibility of the reported clients. And for the next one is, we have to know what the definitions of RVs. Here, Highland 2005 argues that RVs are one of the lexical devices that writers need for both expressing a stance and connecting or aligning themselves with themselves, the readers. And the next, the author also defined the definitions of RVs stated by Townsend and Neat 1991. RVs can be used by writers to report their own claims or ideas and to demonstrate writers' attitudes toward others' claims. In illustrating these functions of RVs, they propose three different categories of RVs according to the process they perform. So, as can be concluded here that we are as academicians, we will do our scientific writing. Of course, we have to citing other opinions, and here there is the classifications of the definitions in RVs that you have to understand. That is the following of types of RVs. That is divided by Thompson and Yee in 1991, and also Thompson and Yee. Actually, from both of the definitions have the same meaning, but they use in another words. From the first one is in Thompson and Yee mention textual verbs and mental verbs, reserved verbs, and each kind of RVs mentioned in different types. And also for Thompson and Yee 1991, this mention this. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. That is this. This is Holland. I'm sorry, typo. Discourse X, cognition X, and research X. For the next slide, we will see the more detail of the definitions of each. Okay, you can see for this diagram, this is the categories of reporting verbs that according by the Highland in 2002, page 119. And here, actually this is, it has three points that has been classified in the previous that are research acts, cognition acts, and discourse acts. But here, it's more classified by Highland. Okay, you will may ask, or you still confused what is the aims of this research. This research is aimed to explore how RVs were deployed in the terms of their denotative and evaluative potentials, their forms, tenses, and voice in these chapters. You know, guys, friends, here in the conclusion that, in the findings, the researcher will classify each types. Okay, the second one is the methods. The first one is the data. The data is it is taken from the 24 electric Tesol in a thesis written by the students in Vietnamese, south of Vietnamese, in 3 universities. It was taken in 2009 and until 2012. But here, in each journal that consists of 5 chapters, but the researchers only focus in 1 chapter, that is literature review, as the data to analyze. And the last one is the resulting corpus of 2024 literature review chapters consisted of 164,344 words that already found in the in the journals. And the second one is the frameworks for analyzing our fish. To analyze our fish through the students' writings, it is used by Highlands, that is written in 2002, that consists of Research Acts, Cognition Acts, and Discourse Acts. Moreover, the writer also classified the denotative and evaluative loads of RVs. Why? To know more detail the kinds of the words used by the students. And also, the writers also tends to find out the tenses and voice that used in the RVs. Okay, this is the findings of the students' journal. The first one is denotative or process categories. As can be seen from this table, you have to know that it has been classified from the acronyms Tesol and Highland. You know, these Highlands already mentioned or already found by the Highland in 2002. But here in his finding, it is it can be seen that the most or the dominant use in the office is discourse acts. You can see that in discourse acts, the amount of discourse acts is 551 words. And the next one is the evaluations categories. As can be seen that the more detail, the more in detail to explain the kind of the using first by the students in their writing. As can be seen in research acts, the dominant using here is procedure. Findings. That in findings the dominant use is non-factive, while in a last one used here is cognition acts. And these are the verbs that is used in RVs by the students in their writing journals. You can see the most used is word of state, the amount of 57, and the last one is they are defined, advised, answer, and so on. Okay, the last one is in these findings is tense and voice. As can be seen in this table, the most dominant use here is present simple, which consists of 49 words, while the last one is present perfect. Why? Because in doing research, the most dominant use is simple present, because they are in line to do the research. And the last one is the conclusion. As can be seen from the previous slide, that the study found that the discourse acts was the most prominent, and followed by the research acts and cognition acts. And regarding to the tense and voice RVs used here, there are there was an almost equal use of present and participle tense. A few present perfect tense were found in the literature review chapters, which indicates that few instances about the past literature the generality were provided before more detailed information regarding the review topics or related to previous research was reported. But here, in the last terms, the writer stated that these findings tend to reveal this Vietnamese writer's unfamiliarity with using Verbs for achieving the communicative purpose of LR chapters. Here, you may still confused why the students still are familiarity, because in the background of the primary English research that the students do not teach by the student in using the words in writing. Writing scientific writing by using these words that already discussed. Okay. As far as the students or as a reader, you have to know that. So, what is the functions of the study for us as the reader? For me, you may argue that. For me, as references and also as a guidance for us to write our thesis or our academic writing. Okay, that's all from me, and thank you.